No BS, you say. Okay. Well, we're also sort of live on TikTok as well. I'm going to turn it around now so that people can see you as well. I just want to check that I'm going live on. Okay, there we're going to go live on Instagram as well. Okay, Instagram is live, and it looks like
Beautiful.
we live everywhere. So, okay, let me see if I can turn things around. Okay.
I'm here. I'm just putting in some light here to see if I can get a bit more light.
Camera. Okay, Chris joined, Taz joined. Okay, we live. We have someone on Facebook. Hello, everyone. We're gonna jump on it now. Phil, Coach Phil is my business partner currently in the United States. So if you don't want to know about that, we basically have opened up an office in the United States.
That's
Um,
right.
Coach Phil is our performance coach there in the States. So we're gonna expand in the United States to create business. I think also the number one thing about this is that apart from being in the States, is that me and Coach Phil has come now 12 years. So it's
Yep.
been quite a time. And so one thing I told my team is that one thing we realized after a few months is we partner up with people that we certify as our certified partners. And apart from expanding to the USA, we want to work with people that has a record of execution, that is a leader in their field of what they do, and is
Hmm.
really pushing the limits. And by doing that, we've realized there's certain values that we have as a team. We have values called legacy, called freedom, called legacy, freedom, and courage. One thing that made me connect with you, Coach Phil, is that you are courageous. You know,
Hmm.
for people that want to know, Coach Phil is all the way from Uganda. And through life and things that happened, he packed up everything and he moved to the United States, USA. And where in the States are you now, Coach Phil?
Right now, I'm in Connecticut.
Currently in Connecticut. So gave up everything, moved to the States because of personal things and family. And it's not easy packing up, Coach. I think leaving everything behind what you know. And Africa is beautiful. It's passion. The United States is a little bit different. You packed up everything, you went there, so you have the courage to do that. You're all about creating freedom. This is why you do. You like me. You don't want to work for a boss. You want to be free to be able to do what you do. And I think the last thing is legacy. It's making a difference.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that yes, I have kids, and that was part of my legacy. But I realized that I lost having that access to my kids because I went through a divorce, and I only see my kids once, maybe twice a year. I have to live with that decisions that I've made. And I think tonight we're going to speak about leadership. Sometimes leadership is going to have to make difficult decisions and have to know that we have to live by those decisions. And I realized that my legacy, even though my kids are there, is I was in a reflection of what is my legacy. And it's like you, Coach Phil, we want to make a difference in the world because we are then now sold out because we both have been through difficult times and we wanted to give up multiple times, yet we are still here and we're still pushing through. So everyone just on TikTok, Facebook, and all of the other channels, this is my partner that is based in the US. And I know I've spoken a long time, but I just wanted to position you, Coach Phil, of the most amazing human being you are. We call each other yin and yang, chocolate
Yes.
brother, vanilla brother. We
Yep.
even though we have different moms, we
Yeah, I add color into your life. I bring some chocolate so that you know some of our jokes I think are a little bit too tough for these guys. But yeah, it's been yin and yang, like they say. But I think the fundamentals are there: the courage, the legacy, the freedom. And I think that's why we set out to do what we do. That's why we do world-class business turnarounds. That's why we get people into fits and they change their lives. The other day I was looking. I think between me and you, we have students across the entire world in terms of all the six continents, and there's not many people who can say that. Having been based from Africa, that we have students across the world, and not just students who are just living mediocre lives, guys who are actually doing amazing stuff. And that is what it's all about. How do we do what we do in such a way that it inspires, challenges, and touches people the right way, so that they can live an amazing life themselves. So we live
Yeah.
what we say, and today we're talking about leadership. We're talking about, I think the last 4 or 5 years, we have both pivoted to using what we do to turn organizations around. I mean, separately, we have done what, over maybe $350 million between our clients,
Yes.
simply because of the things that we help them do. So, and it's always an honor to come and share with you, to share with the guys, and also to open up the fact that without synergies, without working together, it becomes hard. But I've got access to your tribe. You've got access to my tribe. We're opening up in the USA. You're supporting that. I'm supporting what we're doing in Africa, which will always be home for us. Your being there, my being here, just improves, or it increases what we intend to do in the world, and that's what it's about. And probably for all the guys who are coming on the call, understand that the power is in leverage. The power is in creating those relationships. The power is in creating a tribe and a herd around you. That if you have the right mindset, you're looking for freedom, and you have courage, and you have legacy as your fundamentals, you're going to be good. I mean, between me and you, I think the people will also know that we're building a world-class consulting company that is going to have representatives across the world. And some of the criteria we're going to use to bring amazing people on is, are they courageous enough? Do they actually want to make a positive difference? Sooner or later, we will not hear about McKinsey and PwC. We're going to run them out of town because we have something different. We have something extra. Most importantly, they don't have the vanilla and chocolate going. So
Yes.
yes,
I think, and that's the thing, is what we came about is that we realized a long time ago is we don't want to play small anymore, and we want to work with companies and corporations that wants to make a difference. And part of our journey is we don't just look for the guy with a suit on. We're really looking for those leadership that said enough is enough. We really want to make a difference, because there's studies that shown that for every person that a company employs, impacts about 8 people indirectly or
correct.
directly in a sense, right? And that's not even business, that's close family, if they're married with kids and grandparents and so forth. If you think about it, it's about 8. And then it's also the impact of other small businesses.
Yeah.
And like the McKinseys and the PwCs and the Deloittes, yes, they probably bring in the financial side of it and the auditing side, and they have this nice proposals and things that they put down. However, they don't have an execution side. And I noticed, I was sitting down with a corporation today, or a local government, if I have to say it in that way. And one thing that I realized is the red tape that most corporations and governments have is that they have these red tape and they're not taking action. Now, and that's the thing I think that makes us different, Coach, is that we all about taking action. We can't wait. So recently, for just those who know, is we had a strategy session talking about global dominance. It's about focusing not only in the US. We have a partner as well in the Cameroon and in Uganda, that we also, and now South Africa and Namibia, that we really want to also impact Africa, because Africa is the superpower of the future. We have the minerals, we have the resources, so, and we have the people that can have that impact. So it's basically,
Yeah, and also it's the next big market. Our population in Africa is growing at a very, very um, high rate, and that is why you see that the other countries are scrambling to be part of it. The Chinese are investing like crazy. The
Yes.
Americans are coming back. Europe are now beginning to struggle a little bit because they feel they're losing out. But we're saying no. We don't want to be. We're not looking for aid anymore. We want to be, when they come, they find a market with competent leaders, with people who are willing to do some amazing things. And again, the last 10 years, we've worked with some amazing leaders, both foreign and local, who have actually gone on to create some amazing things. So it's good. It's good. Let's
Okay.
do what we gotta do. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Do you have
Coach, I
people
think
in the chat already or not yet? Are there any
um,
people yet?
I haven't checked yet. Let me say nobody on the chat box yet, and I just see a few of people on all the social media that's on Instagram. There's nobody has commented yet, so let's get kicking off. I think we in the last, so it's end of October. So let's be honest, it's 1 week more to go, 1.5 week. We end of October, so we're actually
Yeah.
going into November, December. In the USA, they're going into a
Yeah.
winter season. Usually in the winter, you have to have had all your plannings done. And the New Year's, I think in the US, it probably kicks off around March. South Africa, it's also around March. One thing that is necessary that we need to talk about the importance when you're a leader is strategy. And this is now opportunity for the next few months to really plan your 2026 strategy. How
Mhm.
important is strategy, would you say, Coach Phil, from not only from a business point of view, but being a leader, because you have to have strategy for your personal life. So we can
Mhm.
touch a little bit on that, and strategy for business. And we really, it's important now, because if you're going to go into 2026 without strategy and an execution plan and a blueprint, you're going to have a worse 2025 and a 24 and that you've had.
Yeah. I think to give folks a better, the best answer is to share what we have done in the past, and to share testimonials of those who have done great and those who haven't. So the guys who have done pretty good along the years have been the guys who, around this time, they're beginning to plan for the next 12 months.
Yes.
And most importantly, if they had done their job properly and they were part of, uh, if we are their coaches, for example, if they're our clients, by now we should be consolidating what we had done through the year, and we're finishing strong. Finishing strong means that if there were any things in the pipeline that need to be accomplished by the end of the year, those things are, like they're on fire right now. They're on fire. They're finishing strong, and most importantly, and this is important, Cobus, um, I think it is fair to say that great leaders who actually make great things happen for the entire year, around this time when people are beginning to kind of cool down and get that mindset of, oh, it's the end of the year, things are getting, a little cooler, these guys are actually ramping it up. They're ramping up the sales. They're ramping up what they need to do. They're ramping up their ability to be the preferred provider for their clients. Now, with that ramping up, what does that mean? That means that they're finishing the year strong. That's number one. That means they're executing all the things they were planning through the year. But also, they're thinking, if I want to have a great quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, I got to start now. What must I be focusing on now? Whatever it is you're going to be focusing on is dependent on, one, what has happened this year in terms of, okay, what did we do good? What did we not do good? How are we positioning ourselves? Number two, they have scanned the environment and they realize where business is going, what the competition is doing, what does it look like if we are performing at this level, what new products are happening, where is and this is a big one, which we have to help folks about, is the talent pool. They're looking for, where is the great talent, how do we attract the great talent, and ultimately, which is our superpower, how do we ensure that our high performance culture continues to be that, continues to attract the right people who can perform at the highest. So, yes, they are finishing strong, but they're also looking forward to the next 12 months, and they're saying, okay, what worked well, what did not work well, and how am I going to either maintain or get better? Now, obviously, from there they begin to go deeper into the nitty gritty, but that is the bigger picture of, okay, we're finishing strong. Why? Companies who don't do great around this time, everybody's taking leave. Around this time, everybody's like, oh my God, the year is ending. But guys, rich people make money during the holidays.
Yes.
Great companies make a lot of money during the holidays. So great leaders understand that. They understand that the psychology of spending money is going to start round about now. There's so many holidays between now and the end of February that you have to position yourself that way. So those are the big arcing things that I would think about right now, Cobus.
Yeah, and I think one thing that is important is, Coach Phil, is that you said one is about reflection. So let's make a first step. So goal one for any leader on a personal life and in a business side is we have to reflect on a few certain things about the last 12 months.
Yeah,
One, what has worked? So there is a lot of things that worked, right? There's a lot of
yeah,
things that gave us success. So one is really celebrate your successes, celebrate what has worked. And it's not just what has worked, why has it worked?
yeah.
Really identify what was the processes and systems that you implemented that gave you the result, right? Because success
Exactly.
leaves clues, and if you can really look at those success, because those success steps can be duplicated again in the next 12 months in any other area that you want to implement it. So one is really reflecting on what success is and how did it happen and why. The second step is, why is certain objectives not being achieved yet? What
Yep.
was the challenges that really, why hasn't been done? What was set out your previous strategy to be achieved, and why hasn't it been achieved? And really look at the reasons, not excuses. Reasons: we didn't have time, we didn't prioritize it, we didn't push for it, or the economy changed, or Trump made a decision, or our local economy made a decision. It's the same in your personal life. So a lot of things happen because life will happen. We can't foresee everything to be perfect. So really affect. And then part of that reflection of why you didn't good is really go sit down and say, how did we adjust as a team when that didn't happen or something changed in the market? How agile was we and adaptive were we to be able to address it? And most of the time in the business side, we haven't been ready to be able to address it. So that is for me the first two steps that is important. Anything else that you might say from your side that when we reflect?
Okay. Why did you take off that light? It made you look a little more handsome than me. I saw you. Did you switch it off or something?
Um,
Okay.
no, I
So
think it,
I think that there's a couple of very important things that you mentioned there. When they ask why it didn't work, there is a real focus on taking responsibility of what was my role in this not working. That
yes,
is very important. They and what makes us different from the McKinseys of this world is our approach is both the company, but we also focus on the person themselves. We challenge them and say, okay, you didn't hit your sales figures in July. What was your role, personal role? What did you do or not do? And that reflection is important. So what was my role specifically? What did I not do? And then when you take that responsibility, it's not blame, it's responsibility to say, okay, I did hold my team to the highest level. I had this guy who was a great sales guy, but he had the wrong attitude. I didn't get rid of him long enough. But also, I didn't empower I don't know, my engineers to take whatever. So when they take that responsibility, then they go to, okay, what did we not do, or why did we not execute as well as we should have as a team, all together as a team? Again, responsibility rather than blame. No looking
yes,
for excuses, no looking for finger pointing. They go straight to the point. And usually, I think it's important to share this that also during the October, November months, Cobus, that is when they do the deep dive, the war room scenario, where they bring the team in and say, let us dissect this problem and completely obliterate it, that it never happens again. Now, that is unique from other companies. They're not going to be able to say, why did it not work? And most importantly, why didn't we have the ability to pivot and or change and or be agile enough to change? Now, when they
yes,
go into the war room situation, which we help them to do, they come up with some amazing ideas because it's hot right now. They're not waiting for, oh, let's wait for the end of the year. And no, they're doing it right now so that, again, the next quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters are much better. After they take personal responsibility, what was my role? Then the entire team, why did we not execute? Then they go into the war room and they obliterate that problem and look at all scenarios, where where they get all the people in the room, the different departments, and they are on their feet and they're coming up with ideas and they're brainstorming. And by the end of it, bang, they find out exactly what happened, but most importantly, how they're going to 10x that same situation the same time next year. So
In a
that is
war
what I'll
room,
break down there.
yeah, in a war room situation, um, we don't leave the room without getting a solution. And I
No,
think that's
and it
the
has,
thing.
yeah, it has to be 10x. Remember that we always tell them it has to be 10x. And I think one of the ideas we tell guys is how do you always think through bringing the top line to the bottom line? How do you bring the top line to the bottom line? That thinking is patented by what we do, but it's a game changer for many companies. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so just and I think on the next step. Okay, so that's the first step. So there's certain areas for me, Coach Phil, as a leader that gives success for an organization. That's part of the reflection, but also part of to look at where we want to go. So for me, in an assessment, so that I've noticed, and I want you to add to that on your experience as well. So the areas that is the foundation for me in any business is one is finances. Do you know how many? Just a reflection with you is. Do you know how many companies don't know their numbers, don't know exactly the finances? Billion rand or dollar companies, finances is usually not even up to date. It's behind, not having the right, not investing is strong enough in their financial department to make sure everything is running smoothly, procurement, etc. How important is also knowing your numbers and finances for you?
Mhm. Well, that's fundamental. That's fundamental to why we do business. Without the numbers, without the money, we don't know. There's no point of coming to work if you don't know the numbers. And like you said, there is, big, especially big companies. Sometimes they're so big that their nose is so far away from the kitchen, they don't realize if something is going wrong, and or the robust ways of making sure that a fraud is dealt with. Um, I, Many people won't know how much fraud and how much money
Yes.
is lost and by these companies, but they keep it out of the news just to remain, to prevent losing face. But so much goes uh, untold because these companies do not have a laser focus on the finance.
Yes.
We decide, yes, Cobus.
No, I just wanted to add to that. You're talking about that and wasted expenditure. They
Oh,
have
that's a
this
big one.
budget, they have to spend it, but they're spending it on unnecessary stuff like team buildings and without the return of investment. And sometimes they like, we need to spend it, right? And I just wanted to add on that to you is that wasteful expenditure that they could use that money towards something different.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting how many times you walk into a leadership engagement, and you ask the finance guy, hey, so how much money have you made us this year out of our savings? And they can't give you an answer. They cannot give you. They say, what do you mean? How much money have I made out of savings? You say, no. I mean, I am assuming that you have a bank overdraft. They say, yes. I say, how big is it? They say, oh, $10 million. I say, okay. Do you have any plans of bringing that down so that you have your own money to invest elsewhere? And they have no plan. They say, that's not what we do. What we do is to manage the finances, to get whatever is out there, and make sure that we're paying our debts. I say, yeah, but you as the person in charge of finance, it's not just to manage the finance, it's to make the money work for us beyond just paying salaries, beyond just paying how, great companies. I think this comes from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett always has cash. He
Yes.
always has cash somewhere. Where do you think that money is sitting? That cash, where do you think it's sitting? You think it's sitting with no interest? He's using it to make money because he has got liquid. So you would be surprised how many companies do not actually focus on that bit. And then when we dig deeper, Cobus, we go to, okay, what have you done as the person in charge of finance to challenge us to be more efficient? By asking, every department has got to have a return on investment in everything they do.
Yes.
Every department. Now, you would be surprised.
They have to take ownership of it
Yes.
and treat it as like their money spending it and not just spending it unnecessarily.
Absolutely. But 100% of the time, you'll find that guys are like, no, I'm given a budget and I have to spend it. Especially big companies, they say, oh my God. For example, Cobus, you know how many people are going to call you for team building now because they have a budget they have to get rid of. Those are
Yeah.
the worst team buildings ever because they're not there because it is necessary. They're not there because they want to actually build the team. No, they're there because they have some money that they want to spend. Now, in our younger years, that was good. You know, you'd go in, do it, have a blast for 3 days, get paid, go home. But you'd never have a long-term impact on the company. And now we are much more of okay. Instead of waiting, have the team build in February when you're struggling, you know, and then make sure you're meeting 3 4 times. But ask yourself a question, and this is how we do here when me and Cobus work. When we do a session for you, we want a 10x return on your investment. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
If we're not giving you 10x, then we didn't do our job. But I can tell you that we sometimes go way beyond 10x. And when you put it out over years, the work that we have done, that we did 5 10 years up till now, is still compounding in what we did for them because we realize that is the only way you can stay in business long term. But also that is what we're paid for.
And I think that brings us to the next thing about the return of investment. So finances is important, but the next step is people. You know, me and you do culture surveys and assessments with companies to really look how toxic a culture is. You know, they've shown that if you put a toxic fruit next to another one, it really affects it and it can really spread. You know, and that's for the foundation. People, even though we have AI, we have robotics that's coming into the new world, right? We still need people, and people is internal, our people working inside our, but it's also external, you know, our people that we deal in the community and who we serve in the end of the day. So, you know, and I believe the culture assessment that we do really impacts, because a lot of companies do engagement surveys, and when they do engagement surveys, they don't really do it anonymously, and so people don't say honest what they're feeling and what they're experiencing in the company. And we need to create that environment. That's why I love our team culture assessment, because it really pinpoints where the red flags is and what is the toxic behavior in the company.
Yeah, and it's interesting that 99.9% of the people who do our survey actually go like, "Oh my God, I did not know that that is how bad it is." They see all these red flags and they're like, "What? I didn't know that it was." Yeah, because you were doing engagement surveys that people are tired of. People are sick and tired of doing surveys all the time. So when they get another survey, they're just going to, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to tick, 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 and I'm out." But our surveys push them to actually give how they really feel. But going even bigger than that, or to the next level, if you chunk it up, culture is the biggest lever for your success, period. You
Mhm.
know, when people don't great leaders understand the importance of culture in the organization.
There's a
The
quote.
kind of culture is the environment in which people perform. Is it a world class, results oriented, happy culture, or are you one of those who, you know, you just, as long as it gets done, you're good? When one little lever of having just a little bit better of a culture which attracts the right people can double or triple your profit in
Yes.
12 months, simply because you got the culture right. Guess what? Most leaders actually will focus on the operations and the finance, and they find that, oh, operations is not going well. Why? We have the wrong people. Why? Most of our people are leaving. Why? Because you got the wrong culture. They don't want to stay with you. Okay, they don't feel that it is an environment that can support their ability to be the best. Same thing, you know, one of the things that again, you will know, we're beginning to help companies to get their AI protocol going, but the AI is not being defeated because people don't want it. It's being defeated because you have the wrong culture of learning. Because people are like, oh my God, is it going to take my job? Is it? That is because the culture is more of, I'm protecting my little thing. You know, it's not a culture of learning and innovation. Fix
Yes.
the culture and AI will become second nature. If you don't fix the culture, you're going to struggle. And by the way, uh, it is here to happen whether you want or not. Yeah, robotics are going to come until you have a factory or an organization where you just have robots. Then you still need people. Then you still need culture. And if you don't invest in it, we're going to have a problem.
There's a quote that says, you can have the best strategy, but a culture, the right culture, eats any strategy for breakfast.
Every
And
day.
that's and that's why it's so important, is what is that culture like? Because the culture affects the attitude, affects engagement, affects it's almost, for me, it's, if you can get your culture right, it's your USP, it's your unique selling proposition. It's really what's going to differentiate you in a market where competition is very close. Because most big corporations have similar products and services. However, it's the culture that differentiates them from their competitors.
You got it. And I think what's important, again, how we approach it is we want to create so much goodness, so much good feel within the company that the competition has no chance. If
Yes.
we have more competition inside the company, if we treat ourselves better inside the company, the competition has no chance. And I think that those are some of the things that some people get right. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and the Ritz Carlton people and the Singapore Airlines and a little bit of Safaricom, and I'm sure there's some companies down in SA where the leader understood that if I sort my culture out, where it is a culture of innovation and growth and pushing the limits. I know a small company here in Connecticut where their culture is more of we have to dominate. That's
Yeah.
it. So they only attract people who want to win. They only attract people who want to dominate. And it's amazing that everybody walks in with that warrior spirit. Who are we
Yes.
going to kill today? Who are we going to take down today? And it's just part of the way they do things. And yes, not every company is going to take that, but there's some fundamentals. Is it an environment that is challenging us to grow? Yes. Is it an environment where the customer feels like they are specially treated? Yes. Is it? And by the way, a great culture will always produce great service. There's no two ways about it. It's just one of those amazing things. Great cultures always produce great service. So I think that the more that the leaders, and at the top of this conversation, we're asking what are these leaders are thinking about. They are all going to have to sit down with their coaches, with us, those who are our clients, and we're going to do an audit on the culture right now and say, okay, is this still the culture that is going to take us through to the next level? Are we still going to win using this culture in 2026?
Yeah. And I think that's the foundation. So we've looked now, I think finance is important, but the people culture and what you want to create and what you want to implement, and the rules of who you're allowed to come and work into your business. Do they meet certain standards? And I think one thing about that is how many businesses also have values. However, they don't live by the values. How many times have we worked with businesses, then you ask them what their value says, and then they don't know. It's just something that has been written on the wall, and they don't live by it. And so also they don't then attract a similar as clients that has similar values and people to come and work in their companies. I know you love values. How do you see values? Why is it so important?
Values is like the compass of how we do things here, you know. And like you say, sometimes people will have a vision and mission and values on the wall, but they don't walk and or live them. And it's interesting, Cobus. I don't know whether I've told you, but you walk into a company that has got amazing values on the board, on the wall, in the boardroom, and what. And then when you walk around, they treat it, especially this value of respect.
Yes.
And then you walk around and you see the way they treat the guy at the gate, or the way they treat the receptionist, or the way they talk to each other, and you're thinking, okay, why do you even put it up there? And I think, to answer the question how important it is, I think it is the fuel for your goals. If you're not following your values, if you're not working with your values, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve the mission, because by the time you came up with these values, you said, okay, these are the values that are going to be the foundation for where we're going. And most of them are usually the same: respect, growth, or competitiveness. All the same. I know these days some leaders don't even have values. They just say, we just make things happen. Okay, We
Yes.
just do what we got to do, and they're coming up with just one simple slogan, and they're forgetting about values. But values are important because it's like your covenant with
Yes.
the mission and with God and with everything. You say, this is how we're going to do.
It's your
These are
standard.
the pillars. Go on.
No, I just want to say it's your standard. It's the standard
Yeah,
of
you understand. And when people walk in, and I'll tell you, many great and this comes. Maybe we should have mentioned it during the people segment. A lot of great people will leave if the values are not aligned with the mission.
yes.
I know, and maybe it's a little bit confidential, but I'll say it in different way. I know companies that have lost amazing A+ players simply because the leaders were not living and walking the values.
Yes.
Where the
Leadership.
leader will yeah, they will cut corners, and they won't be honest with the team, and they won't be honest with the clients, and there's there are all kinds of situations where uh, you know people will walk out simply because the values don't align. So you got to have your values in such a way that they are your standard, they are your operating procedure, your operating system, but most importantly that you walk and live them. Now, if your values were not designed to be a great foundation for where you need to go, and be things that kind of give you a pathway to remain in within that path, then naturally you're not going to be able to get to where you need to get.
Mm. Okay, so we for anyone that is listening, if you really want to look at, this is just an invite. I know Coach Phil, I haven't mentioned this to him yet. However, I know he's going to be open to it. Is that if you are listening here and you have a workforce of 20 employees and more, we will give you a team culture assessment. A value. The only investment that's going to come from you is to have time with us. One is to put out the assessment towards you in your company so that people can fill it in. And then secondly, your investment is your time so that we can give you feedback on the report of where your company is. There's no sell, there's no money that we want in return. We want to give this because we really want to make an impact. So if you are there and you are listening to this, really reach out to us. You're going to be listening on Coach Phil's. You're probably seeing this as a short reel. You're probably live now, or you're looking at the replay. If you really want to look at how your culture is in your company, reach out to us. It's, I think we can. How many? We probably can handle about probably 10, 15 and companies, maybe 10. Well,
I think
between.
right now we're averaging 9 covers, because of the intensity of what we do. Nine is a good number. 9
That's
companies,
why I'm
and it's a
thinking
campus.
10, not more than 10. Yeah, the first
Yeah,
10
not
people.
more than 10. No, we can't.
Mm,
But I think it's important to mention, Cobus, that the reason why is, the mission for us is we believe that business and entrepreneurship is what is going to change our people's
yeah.
lives, our communities, our companies, our countries. Entrepreneurs, business owners are the people who make other people's lives better. I think before we started, we were talking about the fact that, if you have a company that employs 8 people or 10 people, those 10 people, each one of them is responsible for at least minimum 8 people outside of the company. So that's 80 people. So if you mess it up, that's 80 people's lives on the line. Now, if you have 1,000 people that you employ, 1,000 times 8, that's 8,000 families or 8,000 people out there that you're affecting. So if we can help to contribute to it by giving you some information that will help you to see where you're going wrong, what your people actually feel about you, then before you know it, guess what? You will know exactly what to do, and you can create a better company, be more successful. Therefore, more people are better off because of what you did as a leader, and simply because you did this survey. And like Kobo said, the only thing for you is a few minutes, between 8 to 15 minutes of your time, to sit down, and we break it down for you and say, this is what the survey said. These are your red flags. This is what you're doing great. This is what you could improve on, and that's it. And then you can go and implement. It's entirely up to you. There's no sell, there's no upsell, nothing. We just want to be able to give back to you And of course, if there are situations where you feel that you need help, hey, we have no option, we have no qualms to talk about it. But initially, we just want to be of service to you.
Yeah. So, so first we spoke about strategy. Then we said part of the strategy is to look at finances, look at people, and I just want to mention the other legs as well. I think the other strong leg that is in a business, once you have all of this, is sales and marketing. I think you can have the best culture, you can have the best finance strategy. However, if you don't drive sales and marketing, that's for me another leg. Especially marketing is there because marketing is external and internal, but the number one is sales drive. And I know one thing that has made you successful over the past is giving people that voice of confidence to be able to stand in front of an audience to sell themselves, or on a one-on-one basis to sell themselves. I think that's the next thing is most companies that they have sales teams. And I've asked plenty of times in sales conferences, how many of you invest in your sales growth? How many of you do have read sales books? How many of you have done sales courses? And do you know, 99% of them says no. So if a company also struggles is they don't have the right sales strategy. How important is sales?
Look, sales is everything. Before anything happens, a sale has to happen. When a sale happens, then everybody has a job. If before the sale, nobody has a job. But you just nailed it. Cobus, there's no one who goes through our sales bootcamp and they do not at least add between 20-30% more sales. Nobody. What is the essence of our sales bootcamp? Self-confidence of the salesperson, belief in the product. When you get those two things right, that's it. You would be surprised how many, like you said, people don't work on personal development. A salesman who knows who they are, who believes in themselves and loves the product, will sell that product until the cows come home, especially if they understand that it makes a difference. It doesn't matter what they're selling. If they believe that it's going to make a difference in your life, they will sell it like crazy. Why? They believe in it. They also have the confidence. They are good at taking no, but they also know how to deal with objections. They know how to play around with the fact that it's not, when somebody says no to you, it's not personal. When you can get people to that next level of understanding that sales is about service, it's an obligation, and I have the self-confidence via our sales bootcamp or the fit. No, nobody does our firework and does not become a better salesperson, period. So how important is sales? It's everything. Nothing happens until sales happen. You can have a great HR team and great I don't know what. If the sales team sucks, you're in trouble.
And the thing is, everyone has to sell. The moment someone walks into your organization is to have that understanding. It's not just only your sales team that's selling. It's also your HR. It's also your admin. It's also your office staff. It's how they operate on the telephone, how they interact. But also, for me, it's almost like someone that has just been converted to Christianity. They usually, when they do that, they want to tell the whole world. And that's what you want in your staff. You want them to be so excited working with your company. Whenever you post on social media, you want them to share it on all of their media. You want them to tell their friends about your company. You really want people so happy in your organization that before, it's almost like that saying, how do you know someone works at a certain company? They tell you, or, and that's what you want.
Talk about it. They
Yes.
talk about it. What is the saying? Anyway, it goes, but there's a mini dirty joke about when you've just when you know something is that good, you tell everybody about it. If you go, the best salesman for Coca-Cola and McDonald's is also one of their biggest investors, and there's a reason why. That guy always has a can of Coke in front of him. Those of you who are business people, you'll know who that guy is. That guy has had McDonald's for I don't know how many years. He doesn't have heart problems and stuff like that, but he's the best salesman ever for that company. If your people don't work, live, dream, and love what you do and or sell, then we haven't gotten to that level where the company is a sales machine. The entirety of the company is a sales machine. Cobus, I don't know if you remember, we did, and I was talking about him recently. We did a session in Tanzania for a company called Superdome. And there's a gentleman, he's called Saif Mohammed. I love this guy. He's an amazing business guy. So one time, one time, some guys come to sell him insurance. Young guys, plus their boss, they walk into the boardroom and they sit and they're very smart and, they knew their stuff and they talk for about 35, 45 minutes. And I was there because he was my client, and we were sitting and he's listening to them and he's looking at me and he's looking at them. And he kind of winked at me and he said, like, watch what's going to happen. So he says, okay guys, um uh, I already have insurance, there's no question about it, so you have to give me a reason why I should choose you guys. By the way, my insurance is around about, I don't know, maybe $100,000 or something, so it was a big deal. And every time he asked the question, rather than answer it from his perspective, they always answered it from their perspective. So it was always about the features, the features, the features, the features, instead of the benefits. So this is what he did. He said, "Oh, by the way, did you guys drive here?" I said, "Yeah, we drove." He said, "Whose car do you use?" "Oh, there was a young girl on the other side. I think she was called Ahmad, and they're driven there in her car." And he said, "Oh, so um, when is the last time you changed your car tires?" And she said, "Oh, I don't know." And then he went through a lesson on the importance of the pressure of the car tires and how they can be there for over 5 years if they have the right temperature, if they have the right pressure, and that could save you money. And then he would ask her, would you like to save at least 1 million Tanzania shillings every year? She said, of course I would like to. Said, oh, by the way, do you have children? She said, yes, in fact I have one on the way. She was pregnant. Said, you have to protect those children, my friend, so the pressure of your cars, of your tires must be good. By the way, we have a cell where you can pay in 3 installments, where we don't have to push it, because we know you're paid. So every time you get paid, you can pay a little bit, and at the end of it, you will be safe, your family will be safe, and you will have a car that has tires all the time. By the way, they're Michelin and they're this, and they will protect you.
Yes.
They left having bought tires rather than having sold him insurance. So I always tell that story, and I remember it because it was a fantastic uh, it was a fantastic display of a guy who understands sales and how his organization sells. And they had brought flyers. By the time they left, each one of them had flyers from Superdough. He gave them chocolate, he gave them all these kind of things, so they're all going out, but they're all full of Superdough things. So I was watching them thinking, what, you came to sell, but you've been sold by a master salesman who understands. So yeah, all the organizations must understand that without sales, nothing matters.
And you just pinpointed, it's about the customer experience, the customer journey. It's how
Absolutely.
can we get that, understanding what does the customer want, but also what they need. Sometimes they come for what they want, but you also need to identify what is it they need and
Yeah.
deliver more than what is expected. Apart from insurance, you sold another product and let them walk away. And so the most important is to really give value. And sometimes it's not about, how can you serve your client. Sometimes it's not to buy from you, but it's giving that extra mile. So it's that customer journey and experience in the end of the day. And
Right.
and I think, and the next step on this is, and this is sort of the almost the last step, and then we can bring everything together, is executing. So it comes down to operations, is really delivering on your promise. And most businesses out there, and I'm saying most because I'm making an assumption of our experience of companies, is they don't deliver on their promise. They promise you this, the sun, the stars, and the moon, but when it comes to execution, delivery, they almost, that's where they falter, and then they're like, oh, business is bad. It's because you don't deliver what you've been promising. It's like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has been in business for hundreds of years because what they promise is what you're going to experience.
I think that you and me know that some of the greatest leaders that we've worked with who understand that aspect of what you've just mentioned, um, they are always willing to get dirty with their hands, to go and experience the product, to go to the workflow, to go to whatever, so that they can get on time, in time feedback of how their product affects the customer.
Mm.
And we have so many examples where, you know, our greatest breakthroughs were where we got them out of their boardroom office up there and took them to the shop floor. And when they experienced how the product works, when they experienced how it affects the customer, when they looked at, okay, this operation is a little bit slow, it's taking too much time, the customer is waiting. How many times have we heard where all the greatest inventors, um, and people who have made amazing things, they didn't make them sitting in the office, they make them experiencing the product themselves first. That means that they take charge of the operations to know why, you know, I think again, say what you want about the guy, but he's a genius when it comes to making things. And he has a concept, that is Elon, he has a concept where he says, go to the red. What does the red mean? That means that in his factories, there are all these machines that are doing different things. Every time that a product is delayed from an operations point of view, the machine stops and the red light goes off.
Mm.
And he said, put all the engineers or department heads' offices close to where the red light is, so that if it stops, it is right in your face. Why? When you understand how your operations work, when you understand how it affects the customer at the end of the day, you're going to do something about it immediately. You're not waiting for customer report to tell you no. You're dealing with it immediately right now. Most importantly, you're making sure that it is aligned with what you have promised the customer 24/7, all the time, every time. There's nothing as beautiful as always getting the leadership team to experience the service of the, you know, why do we do our, you know, our customized mystery visits? The reason we do those mystery visits is we want them to get full experience. Again, I'll tell you a quick story, and I think it's on YouTube somewhere, where Jeff Bezos was sitting with his people, and they were worried, they were concerned about I think he was talking about how data can be crap. So he was saying that one guy came and presented the data on how long it takes before somebody answers the phone. That is from a customer service point of view. And the data was showing that, oh, we answer the phone in less than a minute.
Mm.
In less than a minute, we're going to answer the phone. And he said, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, okay, let's test it. And they decided to test it right there with all his people in the room, the leadership. So they called, and it rang and rang and rang and rang and rang, and it was too long, basically. And they all looked at him, and his face was getting red, and was like, yeah, you see, what you're telling us with the data and the reality is completely different.
Different, yeah.
If you promise to do something, go and check that that promise is being kept. But this is the best part: under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Under promise and over deliver, so that you can wow your clients. What does that do? It creates loyalty, where people are like, you know what, I can't go nowhere. If you want to understand the power of that, look at the next iPhone coming out. Okay, the moment they announce the freaking thing, guess what? People are queuing
Yes.
overnight, even if their latest model phone is working. Why? You know, we have a restaurant uh, in East Africa called Cafe Javas. It's okay. It's got average food, but on Valentine's Day it has queues. Now you imagine you're taking somebody's daughter out for a great meal on Valentine's Day, but you're queuing.
Yes.
Now, can you blame this company? No. What have they done? They have operationalized their customer service excellence.
Yes.
They are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. Trust, Mary Shepard says. They are absolutely amazing in terms of delivering an amazing product. That is why somebody will dress up on Valentine and go and queue outside and wait for a table to wine and dine their lady. I find it fascinating because I am very. I don't know if I would queue waiting to dine somebody's daughter, but It's just fascinating to watch the excellence of operationalizing customer service. So to answer the question, when we and again when we go into companies and look at operations, we don't go in to find fault. We go into uh, optimize what they're doing great, and in
Yeah.
doing that, usually the results are through the roof.
And I think that what makes us different is we really walk with you on a journey to help you to execute, to really
Yeah.
keep you accountable to. And I think that's where other companies don't do it. They don't walk the journey with you. That's why we don't work with a lot of companies. We work with hand selected companies because the thing is, we walk with you to make sure you execute because our name is on it. We guarantee you that you're going to get the results. So I think that's one thing that makes us a different.
Yeah,
And
that's what differentiates us from the Mackenzies of this world. Interesting you say that. I just got a text. I asked somebody, what do you say about what we do? They say, "Oh my God, we have gotten so much better." But just knowing that Thursday is coming and Coach Phil is going to ask what we did, you would be surprised. People in the office on Friday, on Wednesday evening, they're putting in their numbers. They're doing what because they know we're going to check on them, and we don't check on them because we want to find fault. But people will always accomplish more when they know that somebody is watching and is supporting and is cheerleading, but also is making them aware that hey, if you're not doing great, we can see.
I feel like giving gifts tonight. So I think the next thing is, we spoke about the importance of strategy. We spoke on the importance of finance. We spoke on the importance of people, and we giving the first 10 people that wants to do a team culture assessment that is anonymous with their team. Please reach out to us. After that, we spoke about sales and marketing, and now we're speaking about operation execution. And I think the next thing is how do we assess how we are as a company? Where's the red flags? Where should our attention be when we do strategy? Now, we have another assessment that also for those first 10 that wants to act is a 360 assessment. Now, we usually sell that for $5,000 to $10,000 worth of feedback. If you really want that, right, for the first 10 that takes action, we're all about action takers, can reach out to us to get this 360 health business check, right, to
Yeah,
see what is the red flags in your business and
yeah.
what can you address as importance for a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, especially a quarterly to a 12-month process of where should your focus be? Because most companies jump in and they want to do everything. However, we believe that the first 20%, the 20% that you do is going to give you the 80% of the results.
Always,
Yeah.
always. But also, I think we need to make it clear that this is not for everybody. I think it's
Yeah.
only for we have to assess, and we only give it to people who really want to run amazing businesses and make a difference. But most importantly, they want to win. If you don't want to win, if you don't want to make a difference, if you don't want to dominate, then it's obviously not going to work for you. If
Yeah.
you don't want to be supported and held accountable and pushed to the next level, usually it won't work. So I think that's important to let everybody know. It's for us not just about the money; it's about the impact too.
Yeah, we want to work with companies that have similar values than us, are willing to be courageous, to be able to take action, is willing to build a legacy. Because in the end of the day, what are you leaving behind? What difference are you going to make in not only in your own people, but in the community and with your clients, and really serve and make a difference? And I think that's a few things that's important. Coach Phil, we've been on for an hour. What's
All right.
your reflection about our conversation that we had? That I think that you want. What's that thought that you want to leave with the those who's watching this?
I can't believe we've done it now. We've almost spoken through everything we do for organizations. But I think beyond all this, I don't know who is online, who is listening. Please remember that your ability to get better gives permission to other people to get better. If you have an opportunity to make a difference in your organization, customer centricity, thanks, Mary. If you have the opportunity to make a difference using business, I think you should, and it's your obligation to consistently get better, to consistently raise the standard, and if you can take away one thing, it is you cannot you cannot give what is it saying? Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. You
Yes.
cannot treat something without knowing what the challenges are. So we've given you two things. Number one, we'll give you the 360 again to the first 10 people who get through to Cobus, and that is just to help you know where your red flags are. And then we'll also give you the survey, and that one you actually get to sit down with us and we talk through your red flags and the temperature of your company, and that will help you to really go to the next level in the next 3 6 12 months. And with those two, knowing exactly what the issue is and then implementing the different things you need to do will definitely make the next year amazing.
For those on TikTok, my battery is going to die now. So if you lose out, I think the next thing is please like, comment, and share so that we can grow our tribe. Me and Coach Phil is, I'm every week I'm online, not
Every week.
every night. I said a few nights, but me and Coach Phil are going to be online on a consistent basis where we will talk about a different topic every time. I just want to shout out to Mary that has supported us, that is on here. I appreciate you, Mary. And
Thanks,
thank you.
Mary. Appreciate you.
And for the rest of you that is watching on all of the other channels, thank you. And I think this is what it's about, is that consistency, but it's also showing up. A lot of, we can have all the excuses, and let's say one person is watching. It's only Mary that's watching.
Yeah.
People should remember, everyone, from the Mr. Beast in the world, they all started with one person. I remember when I did my first event, one person showed up. In the end of the day, a few years later, I spoke in front of 10,000 people in my biggest audience, right? So you have to start somewhere and grow it. It's not going to happen overnight and say, I'm just going to wait until I have that opportunity to speak in front of 10,000 people or to sell 10,000 products. No, you have to start selling at one. You have to show up and have that consistently. Magic only happens by you showing up. So thank you from my side. Coach Phil, any last thoughts? And then we can end tonight's call.
No, I think we're good. Nothing happens until you take action.
Yes.
Period. And
Mary,
yes, Cobus,
Mary
thank you.
says,
Appreciate you.
Mary says, thank you, Coach Phil. She loves you, Coach.
I
And she
love
also said,
Mary too, and she says thank you to Cobus. Thank you, everybody. It has been an honor, pleasure, and yeah, we're looking forward to the next one. Depending on how they go, if these guys like it and they love what this kind of stuff, we could make this a habit. But yeah,
yes,
we will go once every week just to share what we're doing for consulting. I think. Oh, just before we go, we are looking for international consultants, and the criteria is you got to, number one, have courage. Number two, you must want freedom, and then obviously the third one, courage, freedom, and you
like,
must be willing to do whatever it takes in terms of living your own legacy. If you're willing to be the representative in your country, we give you everything. We have a blueprint that we have used for over 20 years that has gotten us business across the world. We have an international consulting company, like you said. Cobus is in SA. I am in the US. We got a Uganda, Kenya. We need somebody in Kenya right now. We need Nigeria. We need somebody up in Egypt. We need everywhere else. If you want to take PwC and McKinsey and all these guys out of town, now is your time. That's it.
yeah,
All right.
definitely. Let's do that. I think, yeah, please, if when you're listening to this, like, comment, and share. This is the only way we can keep it growing. I appreciate that, Mary, all the way from Ireland, that is on here and that is supported every time. I really appreciate you. You're one amazing human being, and lady, and Ari's warrior maiden, if I have to say it in that way. I had the opportunity to meet her when I was at a business summit about a year ago or 2 years ago. Oh, time flies. And so thank you for her and everyone that is watching. I don't see all of your names, but I just want to do a shout out, for taking the time to listen to me and Coach Phil. Coach, it's been an honor, and it's amazing to have spent time with you. Thank you again. Um, what time is it there in the day at the moment?
It's 4 o'clock, and I am going to right now look for something to eat, and then I'm going to go for a jog or run or something. Maybe next time we can talk about how you keep high performance and how you keep the stamina going. Like
I
we
think
said when we started out, those many years ago, there's many people who said we would not last, and we're still here, and we're going nowhere. So
Oh, it's been 12 years, man. It's been 12 years. Can you
No,
believe it? It's
and
been
it can only
over
get
a
better.
decade.
Yeah, it can only get better.
Okay. So
All
I
right,
just want
people.
to smile, Coach Phil, smile. Just wanted
Ah,
to take a screen grab for that. So,
9 p.m. in Ireland. Hey, I hope you have a good night rest as well when the time comes, Mary.
yeah.
When the
Thank
time
you, Mary.
comes.
Thank you for making
You
the
know,
time.
when anybody tells me about Ireland, I remember my young years when I used to live in the UK, and the best holiday I ever had was when I went a pub trotting in Ireland, and I drank so much Guinness, it was obscene. I'll never forget it. But that's a story for another day. All right,
That's
people. Thank you so much. May God continue to bless you, and we'll catch you soon.
okay. Coach Phil, I'm going to end it, Coach. Chat with you on WhatsApp and have an awesome run. And thank you for making time. And
Always.
we'll all see you soon. Cheers.
Peace.